If you look closely at a typical home in the Pacific Northwest, you will likely notice distinct black streaks running straight down the shaded, north-facing roof slopes. Most homeowners write these marks off as ordinary dirt, accumulated soot, or simple weather staining from years of harsh rain. But those dark streaks are actually alive. They are Gloeocapsa magma, a remarkably hardy ancient cyanobacteria slowly spreading across your roof. Because they both grow on shingles, people tend to group this flat biological film together with thick, spongy moss, assuming they are the exact same problem. Lumping them together leads homeowners to attack the wrong problem with the wrong urgency. This often results in a failure to recognize a critical warning sign of a deteriorating roof. To understand what is happening on your shingles, we have to look at how this organism establishes itself. It grows as a two-dimensional film, surfing down tiny waterways created by concentrated runoff from your chimney base and ridgelines. What looks like a black stain is actually a dark, protective sheath. The organism produces this layer to shield itself from the sun and elements while it survives on the damp slopes. Look at this cross-section of an asphalt shingle. The microscopic algae cells anchor themselves to the top layer and actively extract small particles of the manufactured limestone filler to sustain themselves. That feeding process sounds alarming, but the asphalt roofing industry has studied it extensively. Their consensus is clear. There is zero scientific evidence that algae structurally damages the roof. It is undeniably ugly. It darkens the roof, increases heat absorption, and contributes to slow surface wear over decades. But strictly on its own, algae is a cosmetic stain. Here is why Pacific Northwest roofs still demand urgent attention the moment those black streaks appear. Algae rarely travels alone. Algae thrives on damp, shaded, north-facing slopes. That happens to be the exact same microclimate required to cultivate moss. Unlike a flat film of algae, moss builds a three-dimensional, sponge-like structure. Swelling with rainwater, it physically wedges itself under the shingle. It channels water horizontally, completely bypassing outer defenses and soaking the structural base underneath. Visible algae confirms that the north slopes and shaded valleys are holding enough moisture to support moss growth. Left untreated, that growth can drop a shingle's lifespan by 10 years and lead to a $30,000 replacement. Neither of these organisms stay contained. Both algae and moss spread through airborne spores carried on the wind and rain. Once a single roof on a dense street shows visible streaking, the spore pressure in the area rises. Surrounding homes are virtually guaranteed to show signs of growth within 1 to 2 years. To fight this spread, the most common passive defense homeowners install is a line of zinc and copper strips along the roof ridge. As rain hits the metal strip, it carries toxic ions down the slope, killing new spores. But as water travels, the runoff dilutes. By the lower courses, protection fades, allowing spores to survive. Also, ions cannot kill established growth. Metal strips are a useful supplementary defense to keep a brand new roof clean. But because they rely entirely on inconsistent runoff, they are not a substitute for active, periodic treatment once a home hits the 5-year mark. The absolute worst mistake homeowners make when trying to eliminate these dark streaks is using a high-pressure washer. Biologically, this fails. The pressure only blasts away the visible film. It does not penetrate that dark protective sheath, which leaves the living microscopic cells embedded in your shingles, ready to regrow in a matter of months. Physically, it is destructive. The high-velocity water strips the protective granules right off the asphalt and forces water up under the edges, mimicking the exact same physical damage caused by moss. The correct, industry-standard approach is a low-pressure soft wash. This method utilizes specific chemistry, primarily sodium hypochlorite, to attack the organism directly. Instead of relying on brute force, the soft wash penetrates the dark sheath and kills the cyanobacteria at the cellular level. Then, natural rainfall gently rinses the dead residue away over the following weeks. A chemical soft wash eliminates the biological environment at the cellular level. This prevents the progression from a cosmetic stain to a moss invasion that necessitates a full structural replacement.